What is going on, everybody? I am back today to talk about a movie that I've not heard discussed very much online or just anywhere in particular. And I'm watching this movie for one particular reason, and that is because I've discussed on this channel multiple times one of my favorite directors of all time is Charlie Kaufman. I love Charlie Kaufman. I have a Synecdoche, New York tattoo on the back of my leg. It is one of my favorite films of all time. I not only love his directorial features, but I also love all of the movies that he's written. I think that he is an incredible talent. I think he is a genius. And I love his perception on the world. I think he picks apart so many fascinating issues and explores them in a way that's incredibly thoughtful and moving. And he's just a really phenomenal director. And I was reading an interview not that long ago. It was a little bit older of an interview where he discussed this movie that I'm about to talk to you about today, which is interesting because he's later worked with Tom Noonan throughout his career. But he said he went out, it was like on a date or something, and his partner told him that they wanted to go watch this movie. He had absolutely no interest in seeing this, went, saw it in the theater, and said that he was incredibly and profoundly moved by it, and that he just thought that it was absolutely amazing. And so with that high of a praise from someone that I respect very dearly, I had to watch this movie, and I was really excited to check it out. Even on Letterboxd, it does not have a ton of reviews. I feel like there's not a lot of people talking about this. If you're interested in seeing this, it's kind of hard to find right now, but there's a streaming service called Plex that it's currently streaming for free for. You can sign up for free, kind of like Tubi. You just have to watch some advertisements. And the movie I'm going to be telling you about today is What Happened Was. What Happened Was is directed by Tom Noonan. Jackie and Michael are co-workers at a large law firm. They decide to meet at Jackie's for dinner one night. So I was really excited to watch this movie. Like I said, I'm an enormous fan of Charlie Kaufman. He's one of my favorite filmmakers of all time. If he's going to praise a movie this highly, I've got to check it out. And this movie is absolutely incredible. It's kind of interesting because I feel like there's a lot here that is reminiscent of why I love Charlie Kaufman so much. This is a beautifully human movie. It is a movie that showcases human emotion in not a way that feels Hollywood or fabricated. It's very real in an incredibly uncomfortable way that got under my skin. This movie can be very funny. It can be very dour and sad, and it can also be downright terrifying in moments. And for a movie that is two people in one apartment for an hour and a half, the wide array of emotion that I felt, just like I was hooked to every single line of dialogue that these actors were giving. It is beautifully shot, and I just can't wait to tell you about it today. So at the beginning of the film, we are introduced to Jackie, played by Karen Sillis, and she is in her apartment in New York, and we see her just going through this routine, getting ready for this date. And you can tell she seems to be incredibly nervous. She's getting things together really quickly. She ends up breaking something on the floor, kind of moving around, trying to get everything together, and her doorbell rings. And it's Michael, played by Tom Noonan, the director of the film, and he comes in, and the two of them start having a conversation about their work environment and about, what they do on a day-to-day basis. And it's very clear early on in the movie, these people have virtually no chemistry. It's very uncomfortable. They're trying to meet some kind of point where they can have something in common to keep discussing. There's a lot of repetition in their dialogue, and they'll skip over something, or if they're uninterested in something someone else is saying, they try to veer the subject off in another direction. And the entirety of the film is watching the conversations between these two characters, where the facade starts to slowly melt away until the two become incredibly vulnerable and start sharing how they actually feel. And the movie becomes a deep exploration of human emotion when it comes to loneliness and isolation and depression and yearning for companionship. So like I said, this movie is phenomenal, and it would not be as phenomenal if it wasn't for these two actors' performances. For starters, Karen Sillis is phenomenal in this movie. Every scene that she delivers a monologue, she is absolutely incredible. The array of emotions on her face through this movie, feeling her awkward uncomfortableness in moments, to where she feels very confident in other moments, to where she's thinking about something that just completely and totally makes her sad. I was just enthralled by her in this movie. There were so many moments where it was almost like when she would move to a different position in a room and the lighting would change, her mood would change. And I just like, it's remarkable that an actor can pull that off. And she truly is a showstopper in this movie. Tom Noonan is also incredible in this. he plays very awkward and uncomfortable. But what I really like is when he starts to get vulnerable towards the end of the movie, the awkward uncomfortableness starts to slip away. And I think that that's really interesting when it comes to thinking about human beings that feel awkward in social situations or that are more introverted. That's often the case. I've met some wonderful introverted people in my life who sometimes have a hard time keeping conversations in public, but when you get them in a room in private, they're the most confident when they're talking about like the things that they love and their interests. And I just think the movie showcases these two drastically different characters in a way that's very believable. And I think what works so well about that is these two actors' performances. For a movie shot in one place, the cinematography is nothing short of remarkable. There are some scenes in this movie that I could not believe what they pulled off. There's this one scene where Jackie's character reading Michael an excerpt of this book, and there's like a small dollhouse in the room that they're in, and the camera showcases Tom Noonan's character Michael through the window in the dollhouse. Like there's just so many really cool visual sequences in this movie that I think make it captivating. Because like I said, when you're watching a movie when it's two people in one room, you have to keep it compelling for the viewer in one way or another. And I think that the director of this movie, Tom Noonan, worked with his editors and his cinematographers to create a visually captivating environment that, like, no matter who you are, if you were watching this movie, it's going to keep you hooked. And that's what I liked a lot about this movie. I think that worked really well. There's also really interesting musical choices in this, not just like the popular music that's utilized, but whenever there's music cued into the film, I thought that it worked really well, especially like the outro music of the movie. Just really fantastic choices here. And what works so well about this movie is the level of commentary about human connection that exists. Because I think at the forefront, one of the things that works so well about this movie is just kind of showcasing that yearning and longing for companionship. These are two people that it seems from very early on have no connection whatsoever other than they're both incredibly lonely. And what really hit me so hard is the desperation of both characters to find some sort of connection. They want it, and they're working so hard to try to get it that they're willing to kind of fabricate elements of conversation in order to like make some sort of connection. And I think that's very true to a lot of people. We live in a world, I've talked about this in several of the reviews that I've done. We live in a world that is incredibly disconnected. No matter what we say, we're the most technologically connected we've ever been. But I feel like when it comes to genuine authenticity or people presenting themselves in a way that's authentic, people are oftentimes scared of sharing their feelings because they're afraid that they'll get hurt if someone thinks they're strange or weird for things that they've been through in their life. And what I love so much about this movie is once the facade is dropped, that's when the emotion resonates the most. And I think that that's so true to human beings. Like, we as people have become so prone to be afraid to share our feelings and the things that we've been through with other people. But like, the beauty of this world is that there are people willing to like be there for you and to be friends and to help you process your pain. And I think like when you have to go through something alone, it's so incredibly difficult to just live through the day to day. And we get so much insight into both of these characters and their struggle through not even necessarily direct conversations about their feelings, but like through issues they're going through in their lives that are representative of the feelings that they're having, which is why I think the movie hits so incredibly hard. It's like in this movie, you feel the authenticity of these people's emotions and the awkwardness of the evening, and it turns very dark at one point, and then it gets very saddening and disheartening. And I really love that Tom Noonan is able to showcase that wide array of emotions to make an emotionally impactful third act that really I shed multiple tears at the end of this movie because I just felt like it was very vulnerable and beautiful and well executed. And this is a movie I'll be thinking about for quite some time. I think if any of this sounds interesting to you, or if you're a fan of the work of Charlie Kaufman, I think you'll really find something to appreciate with this movie. So have you seen What Happened Was? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was absolutely incredible. I loved everything about it, and I already can't wait to watch it again. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.